Good afternoon and welcome to the Abbey Church of Dunfermline. My name is the Reverend Mary Ann Rennie and I'm the minister here at the Abbey. And over the last few weeks, while we have been in lockdown, I have been taking the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the Abbey for myself and hopefully share some of what I've been learning with others. I have to thank Mary Welsh, who was one of our custodians and is our beadle, which is the Scottish word for church officer. She has given me some of what she would have used when she was doing tours here in the Abbey. At this time in the year, we are usually open to the public, and over the course of a year, around about 25,000 to 30,000 visitors wander into our building. And so you will find that there are 6 weeks of different things that we have been looking at. And last week I showed you one of the Bruce memorials within the building. I'm probably going to return to that one at the end because I noticed I missed something that Mary had left me last week. But you're going to have to excuse me because I'm going to fiddle around with the camera and get you in the right place, because I'm going to show you the Bruce window here in the Abbey. So this is the last time you'll see me. You'll keep hearing me and I'm going to whiz you round and I'll try and get you to see the window. I'll apologise for any mess or anything you see. It's because we are obviously currently empty and only 2 or 3 of us are in and out of the building at any one time doing things. And when you come in, you tend to come in and pick up what you're doing, do it, and then leave. So there are things lying around, and I tell you, I think Mary might shoot my boots later, but it's not that bad, really, Mary. It's not. It's really not that bad, I promise you. So I'm just going to whiz you round. So there you go, Jackie. You'll be able to see the shop just there. Now, I'm just going to put you there. So hopefully you can now see the window. I might do my best to try and... No, I'm not going to try and whiz in and out. So you can hopefully see the Bruce window up there. That's in the north transept of the church. The window was dedicated to the memory of King Robert the Bruce on the 7th of July 1974 to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the King's birth. It was gifted by Daniel Lamont of Edinburgh, and the window was designed and installed by Gordon Webster of Glasgow. The lower lights represent the mortal estate, with King Robert the Bruce in the centre, flanked by the Earl of Moray and Sir James Douglas on the left, and by Walter the Steward and Angus Og MacDonald, Lord of the Isles, on the right. The upper lights represent the spiritual estate, with Christ in glory in the centre, and then the four of the Scottish saints, St Ninian, St Andrew on the left, and St Columba and St Fillan on the right. The centre quarterfoil of the tracery depicts the Lamb of God surrounded by the symbols of the 12 apostles. So from the top right, I'm just thinking, I may have to take this off and... I can. Right, I'm going to take this off so I can do this. Oh, sometimes you think you've got a good idea and then you haven't. So that was the... I'll try and show you a wee bit of a better close-up if I can. Sorry for the shaky hands. So down here at the bottom... Down here at the bottom, that's the mortal estate with Bruce in the centre. And then the Earl of Moray, James Douglas and Walter the Steward and Angus Og MacDonald. And then I'm just going to take you up to this spiritual estate, and there you'll see Christ in the centre. And then Ninian, Andrew, Columba and Fillan. And then right up at the top here. Now, I really do apologise for shaky hands. It's not easy to do this. Right, so up at the top there, right in the middle of the tracery there, you'll see the Lamb of God. And then these bits around, so from the top right, we have the fish of St Andrew, the Tow cross and the basket of Philip, the boat of Jude, scallop shells of James the Greater, the cup and serpent of John, the Bible axe and Bible of Matthias, the carpenter's square and spear of Thomas, the flaying knives of Bartholomew, the purses of Matthew, the fish and hook of Simon the Zealot, the saw of James the Less, and the keys of Peter. Now, I'll try not to put my hand in the way again. Let's see if I can take that back down. Oh, that's better. Right, pop this down here. And what we might try and do is, I'll see when we get home if we can actually find a proper photo of it, just so that you're able to zoom in and see for yourselves. The artist is said to have declared that no good window would be complete without something important to the Bruce story, which is the spider. And that's why I'm going to say she will put up a different picture later on this evening or tomorrow morning for you to have a look at. Because if you look carefully to the left of Bruce's foot in the bottom section of the window, you will be able to see that there in the centre bottom panel, complete with 8 legs, there's a spider. It takes a wee while to spot him, but I'm sure if you have a photo you'll be able to see him better, because even if I were to zoom in on this, I don't think you'll see it from my shaky hands. It's thought that the spider is where the story of trying again comes. You remember the story of Bruce and the spider, that he had just lost a battle and he found himself in a cave and he was about to give up all of his efforts. He felt he had lost his way and there was no hope anymore. And as he was sitting watching a spider, he watched the spider try to make a web, and from one side of the cave to the other, the spider would slowly draw the thread and swing itself across the cave. And on 6 attempts, each time that spider swung across, they missed the other side. And then on the 7th attempt, the spider finally made it to the other side. And at that point, Bruce knew that he should go on, that he still had a fight and a battle within him. It's a story well told here in Dunfermline and around Fife, but one that many child or adult enjoys as a reminder that we can't just give up in life, that sometimes we maybe just haven't quite got it and that we have to keep trying. And it's a story we all need to hear over and over again, because we're all very good at suddenly deciding we can't do things anymore. I would imagine that those of you who are still in lockdown, as we are here in Scotland, you're beginning to think, I don't know that I can keep doing this. Well, do you know, we might be the spider. We've got another week of trying, another week longer, but we're all safe. And we're thinking of those for whom this has been a sad time and a time of loss. So that was the window. She had other things that I was to show you. So I'm going to do a wee wander. You're not going to see me. I think that's probably best. So I'm going to wander you. I'm going to take you off here, though. Try not to fall over anything. Oh, dear. Lift that up. It's coming. So, yes. Excuse. It does look like we just kind of abandoned the place on the last Sunday in March. And actually, that really is what happened. That we were here for a baptism, and we'd had our normal Sunday service, and we didn't realise we would not be back as a full congregation, and yet here we are. So I brought you over to the Bruce skull. This is we've moved this around, so if you've been to the Abbey before, you will know that it used to be over on the south side, in amongst all of the Bruce family, the Elgin family, memories. So over on the south side. So here it's on the north side where we've been busy. Last year the new entrance was designed, but we're still waiting for the ramp to go on the new entrance, and then it was always an entrance, and it's where the shop was, and the shop is now here. It's obviously not set up because we didn't get a chance to set the shop up before we closed. But once the ramp goes on, this will be the entrance through which we would hope that most people will enter on a Sunday, as a reminder that we all come as one people together, no matter how we come. But back to the Bruce skull. Here he is. So this is a copy of the skull of Robert the Bruce, which was taken when the vault containing his body was excavated. There were several copies made from the original, and this one the original was placed in a rosewood box with a brass inlay. The stand here is inscribed "Cast in plaster by William Schooler, 1819, interred 1329, and reinterred 1819. And so the original one is in the care of the Royal Collection Trust. Mary says it's strange, but children just love to see the skull. So that's the front. I'll take you a wee wander round. He was obviously quite battle-worn, as you can see. There's serious dents in the side of the skull, and down this side as well. And if I can, I'll try and wander round the back. So, now, if you've been to visit the Abbey in recent times, you will have been able to see part of the Lost Tomb of Robert the Bruce exhibition. So this was the exhibition that it was first shown in Glasgow and has been around Scotland, and so it's finally made its way here. So many of you will have read the plaques if you had been before. And then around about this time last year, because it appeared on my timeline recently, we finally received the three-quarter model of what the tomb might have looked like. And so this is after much research, and there will be a video, hopefully, when the other person in the manse gets round to it, which tells you a wee bit more about how they managed to make an image of what they thought the original tomb would have looked like. So just to wander around here and round to this side. And then he's there. And then at the bottom, these are replicas of the fragments of the original tomb that were used to form the reconstruction of how they would have fitted together. And I'm seeing you can spot my sparkly trainers there, so that's not very good. So that's those there for you to see. It's well worth coming and having a wee look around. That one tells you all about us. You don't need to know any more about us. We know too much to be said. This one here shows you pictures from the video that was put together of what they think the reconstructed tomb would have looked like. So now, I said that I needed to wander back to the plaque. And I haven't even turned the light on for the Tiffany window this week, but you're not worried about that. So last week I talked about Bruce having been rediscovered in 1819, and And I showed you the plaque, but I then said nothing about the plaque. I've not got my daughter here, so she's not turned the light on for me. But maybe actually it might look better without the light on it, because you might see not should be shining off it. So the grave of Robert the Bruce lay unmarked for many years, but seen today marked by a magnificent memorial plaque gifted in 1889. This was the gift of the Earl of Elgin and a descendant of the Bruce. The memorial plaque was unveiled by the Earl's sister, Lady Louisa. The brass plaque was manufactured in Sheffield to a design by Mr. W.R. Black, and it's embedded in a slab of red marble. The figure of the king is life-size. Over his suit of chainmail armour, he wears kingly robes. His hands are clasped in an attitude of prayer, and his feet rest upon the recumbent figure of a lion. His great two-handed sword lies by his side, and the tip of the sword points down in an attitude of peace. On the left of his coat of arms, on the left is his coat of arms, which is up there at the top, as King of Scots, and on his right, his coat of arms as Earl of Carrick. In each corner can be seen a heart motif in reference to the removal of the king's last wish. So just here and just here. And what I'll do is I'll wander up to the top so you can have a look at these plaques, at these crests up here. So there they are, just there. The Latin inscription around the plaque can be translated as the tomb of Robert the Bruce, King of Scots, fortunately discovered among the ruins in 1818, has been marked anew by this brass in the 560th year of his death. So there we go. You'll have to read upside down, I think. So. And under the stairs is obviously, under the pulpit stairs is just a little bit harder, so I'll just... take you all the way up to the top. The unveiling of the plaque took place before a large gathering. The Earl of Elgin said that they had met to mark a grave which for a long time had lain undistinguished, and yet below the spot where they stood lay the bones of a great king, a king whose name had now for more than 500 years been a household word in this country. The brass, if measured from the tip of the crown to the base of the figure, measures 5 feet 11 inches, which is the same as the skeleton. And she has put here, many a visitor has been seen lying on the floor beside the tomb to check that that's correct. It's not just that many a visitor has lain beside the Bruce. Some of our custodians encourage visitors to lie down to see if they're as tall as the great man of Scotland. So next time you visit, if I'll not tell you which one it is, and if he's watching this, he'll know his number's called. If you find yourself lying down, I hope you're 5'11". So this week is the Bruce. I thought I'd show you the last few things that we have of Robert the Bruce. I think Mary's given me some windows for next week. Just have a wee wander around. It's lovely having Bruce here, just as it's lovely having a connection to Margaret. It's good for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes I have to be, as a minister, a wee bit frustrated, I think, that some people seem to be coming for the Bruce and not for other things. But actually, maybe he's a good invitation to our building, that if you are not very sure about Christian faith and you're interested in history, this is a good way of venturing in and coming on a different kind of pilgrimage and finding out a little bit about Scottish history, but finding out a little bit about our world. I say it can be quite frustrating, but also he's full of invitation. One of the fabulous things about, somebody once asked me, does it bother me he's in the Abbey? But actually, no, it doesn't bother me, because he actually, for me, signifies what all churches should be, an open door for anyone to find their place within. And Bruce was a great king of Scotland, but Bruce is also known for some of the other things that he did. And you know, if Bruce can find his way here and feel he belongs, then I hope that's an open invitation to anyone to find their way here and feel they belong. And for me, that's what a church should be, a community of people where people belong. It doesn't have to be a great big fabulous building like this one, although it's quite lovely, and you know, it's all the lovelier when there's people here. It doesn't have to be a great huge building with much to see like this. Wherever there are people who are remembering the story of faith and knowing that they belong together, do you know, that's really all that matters. So is this king here a blessing or a curse? I think he's a blessing, because he reminds us that all belong here or anywhere where people meet and discover they have things in common. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I think, as I said, it's windows next week. I haven't had a wee look ahead to see what Mary's given me, but she's given me plenty. So I hope you'll join me next Tuesday. I can't tell you what time, because it depends on phone calls and other things that happen during the day. But I would hope it would be before 6 o'clock, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye just now.